Hi, everybody. I'm Sarah Lucetta with Ken's TV, and I want to welcome that inspiring family whose video you just saw up here on the screen. This is Maria Dellapina, along with her daughter Erin and her son Anthony. So big round of applause, y'all. And also joining us is Dr. Cynthia Peacock, who founded Baylor's Transition Medicine Clinic, which is a clinic that helps serve families of children with special needs whose children have aged out of the pediatric care system, being 21 and older. Now, it's the only clinic of its kind in the state and one of the few of its kind in the entire country, so it does some very, very important work for families who really need it. Now, let's start our conversation today with Maria, if we can. Now, Maria, I understand that you came about with this creative idea for a business because after you were fired from a job.
Correct.
How did that happen?
I want to thank everybody, too, for attending and for getting this honor from Toyota and Tina Brown and the women in the world putting us in this position. Erin needed glasses when she was little, and I saw the need for this, and I thought an idea, was working on it. But being a single mom and struggling on my own and trying to figure out how to do it, I could do a lot of things in optical, but I didn't know how to get a frame made. So it was kind of on a back burner. Erin took ill few years later, and I had to be at the hospital with her 24/7. And the doctor I was working for at the time said, well, I won't need you anymore then. So my really good friend said, well, you've got to get back into the workforce somehow. And I went to a couple interviews and was actually pulled out of 2 because Erin was sick and I had to go pick her up. So they said, we've got to get this frame line going. And that's really how it became. We just started working out again. I'd send off drafts to places that made eyeglass frames, and they would redesign them like a typical frame and send them back to me. So I just kind of had to pursue that more, and I sent one off to this one company. They sent it back, and I sent it back to them again. I said, that's not quite what I did.
And people kept telling you that there was the market for this, right? Even though there are like 87% of people with Down syndrome do need glasses by the time they get into preschool, but you didn't believe that. You didn't let that stop you.
No, I mean, I couldn't. It was my own daughter, and if the glasses aren't sitting properly on the face, the prescription that they're given is not of any use to them because they'd get prismatic effects. It would help hinder their gross motor skills, their fine motor skills, balance, depth perception. It didn't make sense that there was definitely a reason for it.
Okay. Now I have a question for Anthony. Now I know that Erin is not verbal, but I know you can speak for both of you all since you are both very close family. How big of a role did she play in you becoming a special ed teacher, and also how has she changed your family?
She changed our family by challenging our family. As a special ed teacher, I teach my students to understand that challenge is the best part of change. Like, everything will always change, but if you're changed by a challenge, well, now you're growing. And Erin grew our family, and her challenge became a beautiful endeavor for us. The nonverbal part ties so beautifully back into my mom's words when I was younger. Don't tell me, show me. Mama, I'm sorry. Don't tell me, show me. And I never got it. I never understood it until our challenge with Erin. And she can't tell us as well as she can show us how she's feeling, what she needs, and where she's comfortable. And it's because of that I'm sorry.
Uh-oh. Here we go. I think, is your mic on?
Yeah.
It's still working. Okay.
Well, it's because of that my mom found her avenue in success in this world, in the small worlds that all the families that deal with a child of a similar challenge deal with in their daily lives. So when she came up to me and showed me the drawing of what the frames need to look like and told me how important that would be and told me how much it would change Erin's life, I looked at her and said, don't tell me, show me. And she took that motivation, and we sit here now. So thank you, Erin, Mom.
Thank you.
Now, Dr. Peacock, I have a question for you. There are millions of parents out there raising children with Down syndrome and any number of chronic illnesses and disabilities. You must hear similar stories every day of families who can't find the support or the understanding and the services they need.
Well, it's true. I'm going to steal a word from Erin, challenging. Youth, adolescent, young adults with chronic childhood conditions have really only survived since the 1980s into adulthood. And it's because of the advance of medicine that we've been able to do this. But is it for what kind of quality of life? And that's what we've got to address. It takes a village to care for these individuals, and we need to really gather the thought behind it from the pediatric healthcare system and try to adapt it into the adult healthcare system, which really does not recognize this population of patients. And I would like to emphasize, if we can't care for this population of patients, who can we care for? Because really it's about patient-centered care, and that's not what we're doing currently.
So what advice do you have for families with children who age out of the system? They turn 21 and a lot of these services stop. What do you tell these people?
Well, I think they've got to become knowledgeable about what services do exist for them on the adult side, and then they've got to get the advocacy in them to challenge that system and say, this is what I need and this is what you need to offer. We're not asking for something more, we're just asking for something that they should also receive as any typical citizen in the United States should get.
I feel like that's something most people would never realize about my mother, is that she advocates more than she ever just sits back and appreciates all the attention. It's never about that attention. It's about the attention she gives to all the families and mothers and parents that, as an advocate, you have these rights, you have this available, you have this avenue, go pursue it. And it's that advocacy that definitely is what's greater and works behind the scenes for my mom.
I think the number is what really speaks to everybody. If you know that 1 million of these young people are crossing into adulthood every year, and they have significant childhood conditions, and we're leaving them behind. This is our workforce. So if you can look at it that way from an economist's point of view, is that they want to do the same thing that their typical peer wants to do, and that is to work and be part of a community. But we're not allowing them to do that because we're not giving them the health care that they need.
And real briefly, as we wrap this up, Dr. Peabody, I want to show a drawing that a mother of special needs gave to you that she titled, "It Takes a Village." It's going to pop up right here. What are we looking at here as soon as they can pop it up? See if they can put that up. There it is.
So this is, the circle actually is where the health care comes in, but you can realize that for an individual with significant a chronic childhood condition, they need much more than just the health care. And this is where It Takes a Village comes in. And this was an exercise for a mother to draw this out, to really understand what's impacting her family member, and how's that going to be coordinated. And it's really a tiger mom that can get this all together and try to coordinate all of this. It takes the special mother to do this. And sometimes it's with risk. They may suffer a divorce, they may lose their job because they can't spend the time at their job because they're doing this care coordination. They may have bankruptcy and due to medical cost and medical needs. And so when you look at this, it's just, again, it's very impactful for all of us that we have to help these individuals. And then to think about it in what I'm doing is that a lot of these services peel away as that individual turns 18, 19, and 21. And so the adult healthcare system has got to recognize that they've got to step up to the plate now.
All right, I want to thank you all so much for being up here and sharing your stories of your life and what you've been able to do for people who are really needing it in our communities all over the country and all over the world. Before we wrap things up, we've got one more special thing to do up here. I'd like to welcome Toyota's Dion Colvin-Lovely up to the stage. She's got a few words for us. Thank you, Sarah.
This is such a phenomenal gathering of change makers. And the impact and dedication we've just heard about from our Toyota Mother of Invention, Maria Dellapina, and the work she's doing is truly inspiring. Let's give her another round of applause, please. Toyota is very proud to be partnering with Women in the World for the 4th year in a row, and in great collaboration with Tina and her team, we're honored to be presenting with this Women in a World event. This is the 6th event this year that we've been associated with. This event today is also very close to my heart because it's taking place in San Antonio. And as Tina mentioned, San Antonio is the home of Toyota's truck manufacturing plant. And we have a number of very special guests from that facility here today. Being here is also very special to me because you may have heard in the coming months, Toyota will be calling the great state of Texas home, as we will, all of our, yes, thank you. We will be moving our U.S. headquarters to Plano very shortly. Now, before I go further, I want to extend a special welcome to last year's Toyota Mother of Invention, Mylene Moline, and representatives from the Hiring Our Heroes initiative that we work with the U.S. Chamber on. Noreen O'Neill and Brooke Prouty are here as well as guests of Toyota's. It's very invigorating personally and professionally to be part of the energy and inspiration of this event. Indeed, finding unique solutions to challenges big and small is one of the most audacious and thrilling things that a person can be associated with or achieve. We all know, and this event proves, that when good ideas are shared, great things can happen. Toyota is committed to supporting, inspiring, and celebrating women to help them go places. We're proud to demonstrate our ongoing commitment by honoring mothers of invention who are courageous women who are developing innovative and practical solutions to some of the world's most pressing problems. So now I'd like to turn back to Maria, who I'm very privileged to share the stage with. In April of this year, Toyota called upon, at the Women in the World Summit in New York City, we called upon the guests who were attending to share nominations for who should be the next Toyota Mother of Invention. We received over 200 amazing submissions as a result of that event, and we narrowed the field down to one woman, Maria. We are thrilled to honor you here today as Toyota Mother of Invention, and in recognition for the remarkable work that you've done and what you've accomplished so far, and to help you continue that work. We are delighted to present you with our Toyota Driving Solutions Grant of $50,000. Congratulations. Please give Maria and Specs4Us one more round of applause.
If I can just have a quick minute to say thank you. You know, as mothers, and we're all mothers out there, but as a single mom and a business owner, you know, we grow up and we take care of our kids, and we don't get those attaboys that often, or attagirls, as maybe we should say. But I gotta thank Toyota and Tina Brown and Women of the World for giving me mine. I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
It's much deserved.